Wow, 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 and wow. We have something for you today. If you're looking at this label, it's pretty recognizable in the hierarchy of wines, not just in Bordeaux, but for the world. I mean, when you talk about Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you're talking about one of the most coveted wines globally, you know. And their second wine, Carruades de Lafite, really came on to its, how do I want to say this? I mean, its popularity probably when the emerging markets really started to take effect in the global wine business. And so I would say it was probably in 2008 when Carruades became a darling. Essentially from Shanghai to Singapore to Dubai to all these emerging markets that were starting to come into the fray, Carruades became this like gift-giving. I mean, it was something that if you received a gift of Carruades, it meant something. Now, here we are, 18 years later, and the wine is no longer an afterthought as a second wine to Lafite Rothschild. Okay, this is now basically its own thing. It's there's Lafites and Carruades, and it's not like a second wine. In fact, there is a vineyard or a parcel of Lafite, I should say, that is called the Carruades Plateau. So it's essentially a wine that Lafite makes alongside Lafite. Yeah, but that's how it is now, So, and Carruades in its own right has become really, it's a little darling. I mean, it's Lafite. I mean, it comes from the vineyards of Lafite. It's, in fact, 35% of the crop that went into Lafite goes to the Carruades now. It's not like, it's not an afterthought where, oh yeah, we'll just throw all our, this stuff that doesn't quite should go into Lafite in the second wine. And that was what happened, 20, 30 years ago, which we got a surprise for you based on that. But no, this is now its own wine. Lafite makes its own barrels. So there's something about these barrels that translate into, that gives it that Lafiteness. We see it in Ledi down in Chile. I know we've tasted like older vintages of Ledi, and we're like, that's like Lafite. And it's something to do with the barrels that they make there at the chateau. But for Carruades now it's a serious wine. It's no longer a second wine. It's its own wine, kind of like Pavillon Rouges, kind of like Le Force de la Tours, kind of like the Petit Mouton is. It's really its own wine. And when it comes from these great vineyards, especially the Carruades Plateau, which is basically overlooking the Gironde, because it's higher than actually the chateau, because it's above it. I know someone's going to go, no, Tristan, no, it's not. We're La Fond Rocher. Remember when you were staying there and we looked down at Lafite? Nipah. So, yeah, I'm opening Carruades Lafite right now. %53% Cabernet Sauvignon. Good cork. 40% Merlot and the rest Petit Verdot and Cabernet Franc. Spends 16 months in French oak, made at the chateau. Oh wait, I didn't put the drip store in. Oh, sorry. 96 point James Suckling.
Just going to clean that up for him.
And you know, this wine is really like taken on its own identity, and even more so lately. When Saskia took over Lafite Rothschild, which is the daughter, you know, she like really made an effort, you know, with Eric, the winemaker, to really like make Carruades a not a second wine, but a arm of Lafite, I should say. Or, oh man. You know, Lafite is the elegant first growth. There's just something about it. It's ethereal. It's got this silkiness on the palate. And, you know, when you talk about Lafite, you talk about, you know, black currant, lead pencil, all that kind of stuff. And it has all that stuff. But the wine is ethereal. It has this, like silkiness to it that a lot of the other first growths don't have. They have like more power, or you know, Latour has got more of that, you know, kind of like terroir. Even though Lafort's doesn't come from that one vineyard that faces Las Casas, but it's the wine has this like, I don't want to say almost Burgundian kind of feel to it, but it does. It has this very silkiness to it, and so I pulled out of my cellar, which my esteemed colleague Kyle is going to come join me, the 1990 Carruades de Lafite.
This wine's older than both of us. That's why we need the Durand cork puller, because this wine's ancient. And actually, so old.
And actually, you guys, for old wines, an absolute must-have. So Durand first goes in that, then you can put the Asso.
Kitty corner.
Well, bam.
Twist and pull. And your old cork comes out perfectly. Works every time, 100% of the time. Anchorman. That's
yeah.
That Anchorman reference. I'm gonna have this one first. You have that one first. This is looking good. Perfect bottle. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. No, and what we wanted to do is to show you that second wines can age 35 years.
Well, considering this wine is maybe half the quality of this wine, based on how they made their second wines back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, there are afterthoughts.
Yeah, and this wine at 25 years old is...
35.
F me! Is frigging delicious. You're only as old as you feel, right, Tris?
That's true.
I got a
little cork.
I got a little schmutz in there. That's my bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch. I'm
All
going to
right,
switch with you.
so let me try this one.
Switch.
Now, when you talk about the character of Lafite, when it gets to this point, that nose.
I'd say Carruades nowadays just tastes more like Lafite used to taste. We've had the luxury, where are we at, Patrick? 2 minutes, 3 minutes? We had the luxury of course, tasting Lafite because we're wise.
Yeah.
From the mid 80s up, and I can tell you, outside of like vintages like 86 or 90 or some of these, you know, wacky vintages that were like, blah, this tastes like what Lafite tasted like. A great bottle of Lafite tasted like in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's what Carruades tastes like now.
Yeah.
And this tastes like a junior version of this with 35 years of bottle age. So you can see how they stepped it up hierarchy-wise. So, of course, Carruades pricier now, but when you consider that Carruades is less than half the price of Lafite, and it's as good as most Lafites made in the 1980s and 1990s.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a hell of a deal, because these guys, they've gotten, as you said, a lot more stringent in their selection, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't. Yeah.
And
It's not a second wine, like you said.
and the thing is it's for collectors. It's a great wine for collectors because Carruades. Like, if you look at older vintages of Carruades, like even like 8 and 9 and 10, they're selling for like $300, $400.
Yep.
It's nuts.
Yeah, you'll find a butt for this seat. That butt could be your own.
Could it be my butt?
If you want it to be Patrick's butt, his profile at.
You know when I was kind of explaining when we're talking about this wine having that little lead pencil and little rotar, boy, this wine just is all lead pencil and
Has it in
rotar.
spades.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
This wine's moved along just brilliantly. No, I mean, Carruades is a second growth in its own right. You know what I mean? It's basically a second
But
growth.
when you think of Carruades like back in 1990, you know this wine was probably $20. I don't know. You probably remember.
Yeah, no, it wasn't
25.
terribly expensive.
Yeah.
But this wine was one step above, you know, sending stuff off to like, you know, they're bulking or whatever. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
for sure.
Second wines back at this point were an afterthought.
Yeah.
And now they're not an afterthought anymore. They are.
Yeah.
serious-
They produce less Lafite, and more of that quality goes into Carruades, whereas here, all the quality went to Lafite, and this was like you said, like more of the bulk, more of the afterthought and stuff like that. But anyways, it's fun to try these two things together. I've had this bottle sitting in my cellar for a while, and I'm like, when am I ever going to drink this thing? And I'm like,
How
why
about
not
now?
today? so anyway, killer wine, 96. Like I said, 96 cycling on the Carruades. We got one of the best prices in the country, I believe.
We do.
And it is a collectible. It's something people actually like. Like I said, normally these things sell out very quickly, and I think it was kind of funny because after COVID, I think the emerging markets kind of settled down a little bit. But anyway,
A special superlative singular wine, huh?
great wine.
You know, Carruades is Carruades, baby, and
Yeah.
this is a great
one. 22 vintage, one of the most hedonistic vintages, for sure that I've seen in Bordeaux ever.
Agreed.
So.
Agreed.
Boom. So, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. Big game this weekend. If you're going to be in town, Notre Dame USC, we'll have it on 4 o'clock.
Let's go
4:30.
Irish.
Do, 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 do. Both Kyle and I, he's a Notre Dame fan. I'm an USC fan. So, machines, like and subscribe.
Wine bar.
Wine bar. Yeah. And have a great weekend.